Hey guys, I'm going to show you this mix I did for Tenkay on his song No Rest. He just dropped a mixtape last month, so check it out. I mixed all the songs on it. Let's jump into it. So at the beginning here, we have this radio effect over the vocals. There it is. So this is like a Pro Q3 preset. On all the vocals here, we have two EQs open. You know, a lot going on here. What this is, it looks like a lot, but you just keep adding more and more points as the mix moves along. And you'll find that like these are contradictory. Like this is boosting a decibel here, but like I'm not opposed to that. I'm slowly achieving what I want, but a lot of it is just cutting. You see, like it's mostly cutting. And I only boost like a little bit. I always cut first because when you use the auto gain, like, you know, I've shown you, when you cut, you're boosting every other frequency a little bit. Like I would suppose that's how it works. When you use auto gain, you can just cut frequencies and change how your vocal sounds, and it's no big deal. Like you don't need to boost a ton, right? So you have that EQ there, and then the next EQ here is like just a little bit more subtler. I think I used the gain matching feature and then inverted it. Comment below if you want to hear more about that sometime. I don't know if I've already covered that before. Compressor, our compressor, of course, just a little bit. When you're compressing with rap, EDM, pop, a lot of compression is good actually, right? I'm only getting 6 decibels of gain reduction here with that, but I also have an RVox plugin here. It's something I've been using more. That's like combined, I don't know we're looking like 10 decibels of gain reduction on the vocals. And then we have a Soothe here. I think this is just, I'm going to just solo like the frequencies it's reducing. It's about 7,000 hertz. Just get rid of that brightness and sheen. Another Pro Q. More EQ. Now, this is not me saying you need to have 4, 3, even 2 EQs on your vocals, like instances. Like if you can get away with just using 1 before the compressor, perfect. So I mean, I think this one sounds pretty good, and we used 3, and it just is what it is. I just don't want people to see this and think they have to do that, right? You do an EQ before the compressor because you're affecting what's going into the compressor. If you have too much bass frequencies on your voice, it's going to compress that, and it's going to less compression on what really matters versus kind of shape what feeds into the compressor, if that makes sense. Then we have this one afterwards. Sometimes I'll add one afterwards, after the compression, after the de-esser, because I want to shape what's coming out of the compressor, right? There's purpose to that, right? This is just a analyzer, frequency analyzer I was using just to see, like, was there any frequencies that were just poking out too much of the vocals. And then a limiter, where it's just like honestly cutting off like a lot. Like there is a lot of compression. The vocals were recorded well, so like it doesn't sound bad. Then I'm cutting like 128 hertz. Sometimes you do that, it's too much. Like bring it up to your like half that, right? Vocals 1 right here. This is like the main vocals. We just have auto tune or limiting. Vox 2, which is like more of these guys here. A lot of delay, and this doubler for space, like widening it. I wanted to widen like the background vocals and the ad-libs to like be wider than the main vocals, and have the main vocals kind of remain mostly mono, because they're like the forefront and everything else can complement it. Like, and on this third track here, I think kind of like doubling the vocals. It's just more layers, and these ones I think we were doing even more with. So we have the widening, but even wider. Another limiter, more auto tune and delay. So it's about the same, but I think just a little bit wider, a little bit more delay. Reverb, Valhalla plate. Kind of a longer decay time for this tempo. than I would like normally do. I think it sounds good. There's another reverb here too. So I have two going on. This one's a lot smaller. This is more what I would think is what I would use for a main vocal. You may be like, why? Why would that be more what you use for a main vocal? Because the decay time is a lot smaller, so it'll add just more depth to the vocal without creating that foggy, super wet reverb that like so many people just default to using, right? Which is more of what I have in this first one here. If you have too much of it, there's no contrast to build from. Everything is wet. Everything is super reverbed out. Like if you have certain things with that super washed out reverb, it's so much more contrast, and contrast is what gives you that perspective. Oh, that was really reverbed versus everything's reverbed is washed out. Delay here. Dry it down to 0%, of course, as you should for everything on the when you're using it as a send rather than an insert. Yeah, I did put inserts on these vocals here, but like I also have it over here too. Just this one. Some of these aren't even on. Like this one isn't on. This one isn't on. The doubler is turned off. So because I already had the doubler inserted on these, I'm not afraid to do that when I have vocals that are so well exported and clean like that. Like you don't understand how much of a difference that makes when things are organized and clean, and you can mix it so much faster. It's like underrated, you know. So really simple EQ on the beat here. Let's solo the beat. So just like increasing the bass 1 decibel, and then the side information at 800 hertz a little bit. Decreasing to 2000 hertz, just a tiny bit. Like you see here, it's only a decibel, nothing more than 2 decibels. This is less than 1. That's 1. This is 1.5. So really subtle there. Finally, we can talk about the master here. We got SSL compressor. Barely moving, like 2 decibels, right? Ozone just to get us quicker in the ballpark. Imager added on top of the master assistant. Bandwidth 1. All the way down to completely mono, so everything below 200 hertz is mono. Probably could be too much. I don't know. I think it sounds good. Equalizer here, cutting some highs out, cutting a tiny bit of lows out, and boosting that like 250 hertz, right? Paz analyzer at the end just to check out stuff, and then I was using the CQ here, so let's see what this would sound like without the CQ.
For 10 bands, I bless your state. Bust home run plays like I play for the A's. Feeling like it is not enough time in the day. It's so down now, another sign in the pace. I escape from the box, now I'm on my way.
Yeah, you hear that? Like that's a huge difference. I would recommend, by the way, EQ with the spectrum off, so you don't see any frequencies telling you what to cut because it's so visual. Try to do it with your ears first, then turn this on later. Then do it. You can do a little bit visually, right? Like it's there for a reason, but like try to use your ears more. Limiter at the end. Pro L2, modern style, no look ahead, because this gives it more of like a soft clipping, like punchier effect. Fast release, 1 second of attack time, 0 channeling transients, 0 channeling release, true peak limiting, out negative 0.1, and then we have just measuring there. So that's about it for the mix. I just wanted to give you guys something that's like more simple, and I could touch more on specifics of decision making, EQ, reverb, delay, compression, right? So let me know what else you guys want to see. I'm definitely gonna have more videos soon, so